Trey Turner is back. June Schwarber is an absolute freak of nature. And Johan Rojas finds himself in Lehigh Valley. A lot to get into today on the PHLY Phillies podcast. Hello and happy Tuesday to all in the Delaware Valley and beyond, all you Phillies sickos and nut jobs. Welcome into the PHLY Phillies podcast. Jamie Lynch, Renee Washington, Tyler Zulli. I hope to be as good in life at anything as Kyle Schwarber is at murdering baseballs in the month of June, Renee.
I know. He really sets the bar so high for turning. I feel like in June, it's kind of like he becomes the Hulk.
Insane.
He goes from Bruce Banner to the Hulk and just levels up and becomes this monster.
Yeah, Rob Thompson was asked about it after the game last night. I couldn't make out who asked the question, but they were like, have you figured out, why this happens or how he does this? And Rob was like, I don't know.
Some guys get hot early. Some guys get hot late.
Yeah, he's just like, we can't figure it out, but it is pretty special. A lot to get into from last night's game. We have June Schwarber. Trey Turner is back. Alec Boehm does that thing again. Brandon Marsh is back. I can't quit you. And today we're going to do something fun. We're going to cast our show All-Star ballot because we will get into the All-Star numbers that were released yesterday afternoon, and apparently Bryce Harper is the most popular man in the world.
By no surprise.
Yeah, but let's start with last night. Christopher Sanchez. So, I did have it in the notes here. There is an official nickname, Renee, because Rob calls him Sanchi. So there you have it. If you want to call him Sanchi, I guess that's okay.
Didn't I say Sanchi? And y'all were looking at me like I had three heads.
It's terrible, regardless. Whether it comes for you or from Rob Thompson, it's a bad nickname.
But
the guys call him Sanchi.
What we have learned about the Phillies is every nickname has an E at the end of it.
It's
Rafi,
like the hockey nickname
Sanchi,
thing.
Alvy, Hoffy. Everybody's got an E sound at the end of their name. That's basically the lazy way they go about nicknames. I think they need to bring us in to be their nickname consultants.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you think?
Yes, because they
outsource.
Some of them are okay. Hoffy's okay, but it just sounds like dogs. Hoffy. Oh, little Hoffy. Oh, good boy. Alvy sounds the same way, and Sanchi is just not great.
Well, he was terrific last night. 7 innings pitched, 6 hits allowed, 2 runs, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 5 Ks, 94 pitches. He threw 66 of those for strikes. His ERA now, after 14 starts, is at 2.91. He is having a tremendous year. Yesterday, he led the game with 9 swing and misses. Tyler and I were looking at the MLB Savant. He threw a decent amount of sliders yesterday, more sliders than changeup. Threw 55 sinker fastballs, 20 sliders, 19 changeups. He was hitting some gas. His max on the sinking fast was 96.3, and was doing what Sanchi does. And he went out there and was terrific again, and they needed it.
What a guy, Sanchi. Listen, the command on his changeup and sinker were there, and that's something that had been off against, I guess it was the Boston series that he last pitched. He has had a really rough stretch of just settling back into a groove. And I feel like last night was that chance for him to get the confidence going, feel good. And as we mentioned, you leave the mound after 7 innings knowing you only gave up 6 hits. You only gave up 1 earned run, 94 pitches on the night, 66 of them strikes, and his ERA now at a 2.91. Sanchi is working through it, honestly. He's been probably one of those parts of the success of this season that we didn't even expect. We expected Zach, Aaron, and Ranger to be the triple-headed monster. We expected a full season of Bryce and Trey and Kyle But we thought that Christopher Sanchez was just going to be steady. We didn't expect him to be top ERA across Major League Baseball, definitely top in the NL, and the numbers he's putting up. So it was great to see him kind of get back to that, because I do feel like what he's dealing with is just the mental side of it. Like Zach, Aaron, and Ranger know how to manage the longevity of the season, the longevity of the success. And Christopher's learning, Sanchi is learning that from the other guys of how do I maintain that calm, cool, collected demeanor, throwing strikes, having a good, hitting my spots on my sinker, my changeup consistently. So shout out to Sanchi. Delivered.
Yeah, it was a great performance last night. Jose Alvarado got a little bit of work there and cleanup duty late because he hasn't pitched since last Friday. That's a really good thing when your team has to kind of throw their closer just to get him some action. That means you haven't needed him.
Yeah, because Sanchi almost could have kept going.
Yeah, 94 pitches.
You don't need him to.
If you needed to push him to 105, 110, you probably could have.
You could have.
No need to, because some guys in the bullpen needed work. So, Christopher Sanchez, very, very good. Trey Turner returns. We'll get into the Johan Rojas demotion. It was great to see Trey Turner back at the stadium. Really cool ovation he got there when he came to the plate. His walk-up song, I forgot about it, and then I was like, oh, yeah, it's back. It was really cool to see Trey. And, Rob kind of talked about it after the game also. He was like, it speaks to the caliber of player that he is, that he can miss, close to 6 weeks, come back, and just be back in the batter's box like he hadn't left.
Yeah.
To not do a rehab assignment and to just get right back in there and have your timing, tremendous thing to see.
Yeah, it was awesome to see how, he came back exactly 6 weeks later. He's a man of his word, guys, a man of his word. And also looking at the fact that he shows up in the Allen Iverson shirt, he's back to business. I feel like Trey, much like Bryce, really understands and embodies the city, embodies the fans. And that is why the moment he steps up, we're so easy to please.
Yeah,
honestly.
A message to all athletes that come into Philadelphia. We don't require much to take the bait, all right? Throw on an Iverson shirt
and you got
and run hard.
Right. And exactly. That's it. That's literally all that's needed. So
that is the lowest bar of all time.
Hustle.
Work hard.
Have you considered showing up and placating to the fans?
Because you can't wear the wrong Philly shirt. There are some Philly athletes you can't wear their jersey or shirt because you might not. It's not going to hit the same way. But for him to show up, get that ovation, get the fans all excited, and then go out there and play really well. And it was fitting. The first play and the last play came to his glove of the game, the double play to end it, the first catch of the game. And I was like, he's back. And 33 games this season he had played with a 3.43 average, 9 RBIs, 27 runs, 10 stolen bases, and 8.52 OPS. The direction he was on before he got hurt to then come back last night. And you saw him a little bit bouncy at times and, settling back in because obviously first game back, you're going to have, some rust to shake off. But it was just so nice to see him back out there. A nice, smooth, clean game. And
I did get a little sad seeing Edmundo on the railing during that one play.
I know.
Because on most major league clubs, he kind of earned some more playing time, and he's going to have to go back to. It's going to be interesting because they got to get him some work too, because you want to keep that back going.
So that's the thing that was talked about, because you do have a Trey Turner who, before he was injured, they were saying on the broadcast he was 3rd in hitting, 7th in batting average, 6th in stolen bases, like a top in a number of statistical categories. Obviously, you got to get him back in the lineup. For Sosa, I know it had been asked, what is the plan moving forward? And yet again, it's been talked about him.
Balls yesterday.
He took, pregame, got some work in left field. He's going to continue getting some pregame work in left field because they are hoping that with Trey Turner back, they can get him some time in left field. Listen, the numbers that Edmundo Sosa had, phenomenal. And he deserves to figure out a way to get on the field. So I hope that they can get him as that super utility man, as they were talking about, that can fill in where needed, including left field if possible.
Yeah, let's get a little thumbs up there in the chats as this show's going. Hopefully he can play left field. So that takes us to the next piece of business. Johan Rojas yesterday, as we kind of speculated, did end up getting optioned down. As we kind of talked about, it was the easiest solution roster-wise to make, because if you send Pache, Clemens, or Dahl down, there's a really good chance you lose them. Or Whit Merrifield, they had options to, basically deny those. So Johan Rojas being one of the only guys with options it just made kind of sense. His numbers, as Dombrowski talked about in the Matt Gelb interview, like kind of what they asked him to do a little bit. I think the defense wasn't as good as once anticipated, so that might have been the thing that they just want to get some more work with them. So it looks like going forward, we're going to have a Brandon Marsh, Christian Pache platoon in center field, and the left field platoon is going to be David Dahl and Whit Merrifield, maybe with a little bit of Edmundo Sosa. So we now have 2 outfield platoon spots. And we got a super chat from Real Prince Blue we'll get to in a second. But 2 outfield. I didn't even read it yet. Is he making fun of me? Yeah, he does that. Hello, Real Prince. All right, let's roast me, and then we'll get to the outfield platoons. What does it say, Tyler? Can you throw that up? More reliable, June Schwarber or Jamie's nipples? My nipples. Absolutely my nipples, Real Prince. Because it could be 95 degrees out, and I'm still piercing through my shirt. So I'm always there. June Schwarber is only there in the month of June. He paid money to ask that question, Renee. I had to address it. My nipples are way more reliable.
I intentionally was letting you rock and handle that. I was not going to chime in. I actually was going to say, I was thinking the same thing, but I was like, that's not my place to say it.
Every time I golf, so everybody's like, how do you wear an undershirt? Why are you wearing an undershirt? I'm like, dude, my nipples, okay? I have to. And I got off this morning. I sweat through that undershirt in no time. It's a hot one out there today.
Yeah, it's a struggle.
So yes, sorry.
The high beams are beaming.
Yeah, Kyle's got a great event at Yards Brewery tomorrow night. Sorry to say my nipples are more reliable than your game in June, Kyle. That's just the cold reality. All right, let's get back to the outfield platoons that we were just talking about before my nipples took over. 2 platoons. I don't love it. I'll be honest. Luis Robert, you're 42 days away from becoming a Philadelphia Philly. Mm-hmm. Juan Soto, you're, maybe like, I don't know, 95 days, 120 days away from being a Philadelphia Philly. Sure. This is just not sustainable for the expectations of this team. Mm-hmm. Look, I know not 1 through 9 are all going to be all-star mashing players. Yeah. But to trot out 2 platoons, there needs to be an improvement of the outfield. Yeah. I really hope Luis Robert ends up being it. If it's not somebody of his caliber, you can still address it at a lesser cost easily.
Yeah, and
is the
nipples are still taking over.
My nipples will not be getting traded this July 30th.
Philly 007 is asking a good question about, does the defense get worse or slightly better with Rojas being sent down? And I think Rojas, with his expectations of where he was defensively, was going to be that lockdown center fielder, but we've seen him making some errors and mistakes and some uncharacteristic plays. I don't think it gets worse or better because of this platoon. I think it definitely stays the same. I think what the improvement is on the in terms of at bats. You'll get better at bats from definitely, obviously, Brandon Marsh. Christian Pache is kind of hit or miss, quite literally. Same thing with Whit Merrifield, but if you can get Edmundo Sosa in left field and get him at, obviously he's given much better at bats than what Yoro was. So I think overall the decision, as Rob Thompson was talking about, was, exactly that. It was a chance they had to go figure out what worked best for the team. And they know that it's, they said that he took it very well, very professionally, all the politically correct things, but also mentioning how, it's very unlikely that someone like a Dahl or Merrifield would have optioned to decline if they were demoted. You were going to lose, Christian Pache on claims. So you had to make sure you move somebody down that you weren't going to lose. And in addition to the fact that he had minor league options remaining and wasn't performing, this is the harsh reality of the game and of the world. Like, you got to take care of business. Yoro knew what was at stake. He knew that he has minor league options, and you have to go out there and perform. And he hasn't been able to give more. So I think short term, it's not going to change anything defensively, but it should change things at the bottom of the batting order where we're not going to have as much swinging and missing. They do want him working on bunting. As Rob was talking about, like, the plan is for him to cut down his swing, use the field, be able to bunt. And those are the things that they openly spoke to him about focusing on with this move. So, just having a chance to be able to be the best version of himself as a center fielder and work on his at-bats. Who knows? Who knows what'll happen? But so far, I think, as you mentioned, the bigger picture is, can the Phillies boost their outfield with a move like a Luis Robert? Because the group they have now, unless Edmundo Sosa has the ability.
I don't really want to go into the
at bats,
playoffs
but
with
I don't.
a new left fielder unless he's like great at it.
But the other part of that is you still need someone. Like even if you have Sosa, Marsh, Castellanos as your outfield, that's not exactly.
That doesn't give me a lot of confidence for the playoffs.
Not at all. Not a playoff lineup. That's a great regular season lineup, but for the playoffs, you need somebody else in that outfield. The same way the infield is locked in with your heavy hitters.
Yeah, Tyler, your thoughts on two platoons in the outfield now all of a sudden?
Yeah, I don't particularly, and that's why yesterday when we were talking about it, I said there's no right answer to this question, right? The easiest, least moving part question was to send Johan Rojas down, but this team currently does not have a solidified 1, 2, 3 left, center, right type of outfield. So to me, you have two guys who I know are going to be, I believe, are going to be out there for most of the games moving forward. It's going to be Nick Castellanos. He's not sitting. We've learned that Nick Castellanos doesn't get days off.
And he asked for it.
And Brandon Marsh is probably going to see.
He's going to see more lefties.
As Rob Thompson said, he's going to see more left-handed.
Which is a good improvement.
Because here's the thing. Like, you guys were talking about Johan Rojas and his at-bats. It's not like he wasn't swinging and missing at a ridiculous rate. He was in the 54th percentile at whiff percentage. He was whiffing at about 23% of pitches he saw, which is effectively right around league average. Here's the problem. Barrel rate, 8th percentile. Hard hit rate, 11th percentile. Sweet spot percentage, the 1 percentile. Yeah. Everything that he was hitting was not hard. There was not a lot of hard contact. There was not a lot of drive. There was not a lot of pop. And when I say pop, I don't mean home runs. I mean
driving the ball.
Hit the ball hard, right? And it can be on the ground. You've got speed. Your launch, your launch angle doesn't have to be at a ridiculous rate. But for a guy that is not going to walk a ton because teams don't fear him, his slugging is never going to be high because he's primarily going to be a singles hitter. That's what's concerning was how weak the contact was. To play on top of that, to be a -1 DRS, a 1 DRS, I believe he was. Yeah, a 1 DRS, which ranks 60th in baseball. The defense needed to be elite for Johan Rojas to stick.
And it was not.
It was basically slightly above average.
It was okay.
So this was to answer your question. There's no good fix to this right now. So
Luis Robert, 42 days.
Well, I don't know if it's Luis Robert or not, but I do think they are going
to speak it into existence.
They're going to facilitate a move at some point. I do believe that.
We're going to talk this one into existence.
We were kind of okay with his at bats because he was playing so well defensively. But for Yoro, as you mentioned, with his numbers at 235, 271, 295, over 196 plate appearances, his 566 OPS coming into Monday ranked 218th out of 228 players with 175 plate appearances. So you talk about being in the bottom percentile. His OPS was not good. So hopefully he has a chance with this move, as Rob was talking about, to cut down his swing, use the field, and work on his ability to bunt. And, the biggest thing that you want to make sure you're also taking care of is how you're out and about these days. When we get outside, you want to make sure you've got the shady rays to make sure you're blocking out the sun and maybe even the haters. Because with shady rays, they want to make sure you can get ready for the season ahead with quality shades built to last. They have premium polarized shades, a whole bunch of different options. Let me show you some of these shady rays if you want to see for yourself. Should have had these ready. We've got some great Shady Rays for you. Now, as an independent sunglasses company, Shady Rays provides you with world-class products rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Their shades have durable frames, they've got crystal clear optics, and it makes them the perfect choice for any outdoor adventure. What I love is sometimes I wear sunglasses and any sort of shades, and I feel blind. I can't really see. I don't know if anybody else has this problem, but I do. But with these, it really does a good job of blocking out the lights. Like even now as I'm looking around, it's a great vibe, and they look good and they feel good. And the thing about Shady Rays is what also is beneficial. If you, for any reason, want to exchange them, lose them, break them, Shady Rays will make sure to take care of that and always making sure you don't have any risk when you're shopping. They've got your back with personal and fast support. And exclusively today for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. You can head to shadyrays.com and use code PHLY to get 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try them for yourself, the shades that are rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people with our friends over at Shady Rays.
And let me tell you about our friends over at Rite Aid and the great pharmacy staff that recently helped Renee out with some over-the-counter stuff. It's just some questions she had. She walked right up there, and they were, of course, gracious and helpful. But you can get your prescriptions refilled. You can schedule your vaccines, get personalized recommendations, sign up for notifications, all that stuff you need on the digital tech side to make things a little bit easier. You can also enroll in automated courtesy refills. This stuff is free, easy, and just going to make your life a little bit simpler. Ask your pharmacist to sync your medications so you can pick everything up in one visit. You can sync with your other family members too, so that you don't have to make multiple trips. Restrictions may apply, but ask your local Rite Aid pharmacist to get started. Transfer a refill, set up reminders, enroll in notifications, all that good stuff. Just download the Apple App Store or Google Play app, the Rite Aid app. You can transfer your prescriptions to Rite Aid today. Just go to riteaid.com/transfer. Rite Aid caring pharmacists are ready to answer your questions and help you stay healthy. Get your prescriptions along with anything else they have at Rite Aid, including the over-the-counter medications, household products, cosmetics, and more. Just ask your pharmacy team for details. Restrictions apply. All right, June Schwarber. He's very, very good. He is a monster. Again, last night, 2 dingers, which was just fantastic. Vasquez left the first one over the plate, and Schwarber sent it 441 feet. It was a mistake pitch he left hanging over the plate, and you simply cannot make mistake pitches to Kyle Schwarber in the month of June.
No.
To put into perspective how dominant his month is for his career, April and May, all similar amounts of games played. 30 home runs in April, 37 in May for his career. 74 RBIs in April, 91 in May, 722 OPS in April, 754 in May. All very respectable numbers. Then we get to June. He has 60 home runs in the month of June, 132 RBIs, and his OPS in the month of June is 945. June Schwarber is a freak. He's the fastest kid alive, and apparently the most powerful man alive, because it is awesome to just turn, when the calendar turns to June, to have this guy for 3 years now just burst onto the scene and kind of carry the team. It's pretty tremendous.
And it's great because now I feel like we've all embraced this. It was something that we were talking about, but it's official. Like, this season locks in. June Schwarber is real. You see everybody around Major League Baseball talking about June Schwarber. It's not even just like an inside joke here in Philly. It's very real. The numbers, as you mentioned, that you see from him. That first home run, that 441-foot homer, the second longest of the year for him. He's had 5 home runs in the last 7 games. And that's a third of his home runs that have come in the last 7 games, because he's got 15 total. And for Kyle Schwarber, who has hit 3 home runs of 425 plus feet in the last week alone, and he had hit just 1 home run of that distance prior to this week. So everything he's doing is continuing to ramp up. We're not even, done June yet. I'm excited to see what's left of June for Kyle. That was his 28th multi-home run game ever. And also, as you talk about numbers, 10 multi-home run games in the month of June dating back to 2021.
I think he's had 10
in all the other months combined since 2021. So his sample size of the last 3 years in the month of June in terms of home runs is actually, of multi-home run games, is the same amount of multi-home run games he's had every other month since 2021. I mean, the numbers in June are insane. And so I love the fact that he's, continues to shine and thrive. And, you saw it from the very first at bat. He leads off. It was like 9 pitches. He gets walked. He comes in. He hits a home run next at bat. Like, June Schwarber gives you something every time he's at the plate. He's definitely like the Hulk. And it's great to see, because it's right on cue with what the Phillies need at this moment. And this is what is the great thing about this team. Now it's time for June Schwarber to carry the torch.
Yeah. And as Rich's newsletter this morning, and if you haven't signed up for it, I highly encourage you to do it. Just go to allphly.com. It's free. Don't cost you nothing. And it's an awesome morning newsletter that recaps everything. Rich pointed this out this morning. We talk about the offensive woes from the outfield and how dreadful those numbers are. Well, when you have 3 guys in your infield and your DH spot that have these type of numbers, I guess you can overcome it. Rich points out that the Phillies now have 3 players within the top 25 in OPS leaders in Major League Baseball. Bryce Harper is number 10 with a 910 OPS. Number 18, Alec Raffy Boehm with an 848 spot. And Kyle Schwarber is now up to 830 on the OPS board for 23rd in Major League Baseball. So your 3 guys in the heart of your order are taking care of business. JT Realmuto, before he was hurt, were taking care of business. The outfield may not be. Trey Turner, before his injury, was taking care of business. Outfield might not be, but the rest of the team and the offense certainly is. Outside, Bryson Stott's recent 3 weeks. But we're not going to talk about that today.
Well, the great thing is last night with Trey Turner's return, you saw the top 4 in Kyle, Trey, Bryce, and Alec went 9 for 18, had 7 RBIs between the 4 of them. And this is what's been the strength of this team's offense is that from the jump, they're getting after pitchers early. They're getting deep into the pitch count. And they're also rocking pitchers. And you look at what those 4 have been able to do. They all had a multi-hit night. In fact, 8 of the 9 starters last night had at least 1 hit except for David Dahl. But he had that 85-foot fly out, whatever. But overall, this offense needed a boost. And you have, for Kyle Schwarber, June Schwarber to hit now, when this team hit a little bit of a rut. In the month of May, or coming into June, I should say, they were averaging 5.2 runs per game, which was leading Major League Baseball. They were 4th in team OPS through the end of May. And then they kind of dipped down a bit. And through the start of June, they were averaging just around 4 hits per game. And then here comes June Schwarber, right on cue, right on time to help get the offense going, to help them reset and get back because they had dipped off in terms of OPS, in terms of runs per game in June. And then June Schwarber last night and the top 4 heavy hitters helped make that happen. And so, again, I just love the fact that at the top of the batting order, you have, every guy that's stepping up for a pitcher, good luck. Yeah. But then on the other side, Jamie, you get other guys like a Rafael Marchan, who I love.
He's good.
I love him.
He's better than Garrett.
I love him.
His problem has always been injuries. Everybody knows that. Internally, apparently Dave Dombrowski and Sam Fold really like him a lot. I think it's pretty clear he's more talented than Garrett Stubbs.
Yes.
If everything was equal, Tyler, you can chime in on this one too. I think Rafael Marchan has way more upside than Garrett Stubbs. Garrett Stubbs is the locker room, kind of like people say he's the vibes officer and all that. It's kind of no bullshit. Like the team loves the guy and he's there to, play once a week, keep everybody loose and laughing. And the Phillies are built a lot on culture right now. But I don't think there's any debate that if Rafael Marchan is healthy, he's the better catcher than Garrett Stubbs.
And across the league, as we were reading the league polls, anonymous polls, there's love for Garrett Stubbs and what he brings. Yeah. But listen,
must be a great joke teller. He seems like a fun guy.
He seems like a very fun guy, cool and all. But what's also fun is guys that can, help you score
that
runs.
Cannon from Marchan, too.
Yeah, so for Marchan, yesterday, his 4 hits as he went 4 for 4. He joins in quite a group of Phillies players. So there are only 4 Phillies players that have had 4+ hits, 2+ RBIs, and 2+ runs out of the number 9 spot. Rafael Marchan did it last night. Bryson Stott did it back in 2022. Jack Scott did it back in 1927. And Doc White did it in 1901 because his pitchers used to hit 9th.
Who didn't love the 1901 season from Doc White?
Right, so Marchan, and we love the fact that we see these stats of guys putting themselves in the record books dating back to like the start of the modern era. Marchan, with those 4 hits, you just look at what he was able to do, just spraying the ball into pockets on the field, getting a base hit. His, ever since he's returned, he's been great. And for him to have an opportunity last night where he homered in his last start and then continued it going 4 for 4 last night. The defensive plays also, it's not even just about his offense. You look at the pop that he showed, his ability to get that out.
That arm.
The arm is amazing.
Nasty
so
work.
I love the fact that he's showing it on both sides because as a catcher, so many times you just talk about your role as a catcher defensively. But he's also giving you solid at-bats. He's also, giving you the shimmy and giving you like the post-game interview to hear him talking about he's just so grateful and learning. And I want to see him with Zach Wheeler. I'm just going to throw that out there.
I mean, one more bad Wheeler performance.
I want to see with Zach Wheeler.
You'll get your look. Yeah,
I want to see it.
Tyler, your thoughts? Marchan versus Stubbs. I don't think there's any denying.
Listen, I am not a Garrett Stubbs fan. I understand why Garrett Stubbs has value to this team in terms of a
where is it?
Locker room setting situation. Listen, I think that this is, to me, probably the last year that Garrett Stubbs is on this team.
If he goes healthy the remainder of the year. If his back flares up again or something, you can't count on that.
To me, I think that you have a guy who they love. They clearly rally around. All things created equal. There's no doubt in my mind, Rafael Marchan, I think, has been a better baseball player for a while. Him staying healthy is what was paramount to his success. I was a big Marchan guy probably 4 or 5 years ago now, and I think that he almost fell off my radar just simply because, A, he hadn't had Major League at-bats in like 3 years. The injuries had started to mount up. It kind of almost felt like he was, almost doomed to be passed by at this point. Marchan's a better player than Garrett Stubbs. But if that's what we're worrying about, that's what we're considering is your backup catcher spot. Who's a better player between your backup catchers? Right now, it's to me,
it's so obvious that it's like, okay.
To me,
what are we doing?
My split would lean heavier on Marchan. If they're playing 6 days, or let's say they play 7 days a week, I would right now be catching 4. Marchan would catch 4 and Stubbs would catch 3.
Absolutely. Before we get to the All-Star stuff, did just want to mention the Phillies are dominating the All-Star stuff. We're going to get to that. But I have to show, Tyler, I've been a big robo-umps guy probably since you've known me. Major League Baseball announced it's not going to happen next year. I have the feeling ultimately they're going to finish in the middle, maybe with like the challenge system that they are trying out in some minor levels. It's getting really bad. Angel Hernandez stepped down. This past week has
quote unquote
stepped down. He got his golden parachute to go the fuck away. It's been a really bad week of umpiring. Fenway, you got a night with some really bad calls. Rob Thompson got ejected on Sunday on some egregious calls. And Tyler has the image of last night's call that was a ball. And it couldn't be more of a strike. Like, literally right in the wheelhouse of a right-handed hitter, across the edge of the plate, like belt high, like a definition of a strike 10 out of 10 times. I'm a big robo-ump guy. If they fall in the middle with the challenge system, something needs to change. Like, that's just inexcusable. That affects your product in a really bad way. And now you throw umpires allegedly gambling or implicit in some gambling. Like, it's time to take... Look, I'm all about the human element of the game too, and I think that does make things interesting. Well, no, like I'm out. Give me the robo-umps. Give me the challenge system. Something's got to change because that's just pathetic.
Pat Hoberg makes this situation way worse because him getting caught in the gambling investigation, violating the league's gambling rules.
Yeah, come on.
All it takes is one. And my immediate thought, and I'm sure plenty of others had this thought, is wait a minute, who else is out here gambling? Because there have been some really blatantly bad calls that we've seen where it's not even close. Like, it's not even like it's like on. It's like, okay, it's justifiable, it's close. No, it's clearly in the strike zone. It's clearly a ball. It's like it's completely missed. And even the play against Garrett Stubbs that Rob Thompson was adamant about, that was even like a weird play. It's just been so much of like calls, and it's random. It doesn't make sense. It's like, what are you looking at? Which makes me think, who else is gambling? Who else is maybe again? I'm just calling conspiracy.
Hitman
Put on my conspiracy theory foil hat, because to be this bad, and Angel Hernandez leaving was kind of like, oh great, progress. And then the umps I feel like they've been worse.
Yeah, it's been really,
I feel like there's
bad.
been more people that are taking over for Angel Hernandez to be awful umpires. And I'm wondering, are you getting a cut? Are you getting paid on the table? Are you gambling? I don't know. And then robo-umps are now off the table.
The chat is fired up about it. We're saying, look, if robo-umps do go into place eventually, the umpire is still going to be there. Like, somebody was saying, oh, I don't want to miss out on the manager ump like fights. I love that stuff. I do too. Well, the manager or the ump will still be there. If the manager wants to go get in his ass and scream a little bit, then you can still potentially do that. You have the technology to make it consistent. why would you not? The umpires have just been really bad.
AC Phila saying RIP to me. If I go disappearing, it's because I called the umps out for the conspiracy. And I probably was onto it.
Yeah.
If I disappear, and I'm going to disappear for the next week. If I disappear,
make sure you're texting us and staying
in touch.
It
might be the umps.
Don't get on a Boeing flight.
The black market,
is it a Boeing
umpire.
Plane?
Oh, actually it is. Oh no. The point is conspiracy.
Yikes.
Oh no, it's been nice knowing you guys. I call
Text us when you land, okay? Text us when you check in. Text us. Let us know you're alive all weekend.
I'll be away for the next days, guys. So you won't see me, but I promise, or I hope at least,
Manfred and Bowen are sending their best people your way.
Oh,
be careful.
No. I just feel like Major League Baseball is in a really prime spot. I know we're going to get into the excitement around attendance numbers and fans, and more people are paying attention.
That Umpire story is I think it's bigger than a lot of sports fans have noticed.
I agree.
I think it's really flying under the radar on how shady that is.
I agree. And
betting your games or not, I do not care. You cannot, if he is implicated in betting on Major League Baseball games.
So as of now,
you gotta go. You gotta get scarlet lettered. See you later. Anybody you've texted with on a daily basis that works in the umpire game or associations or anything, you gotta go. You just gotta cut the head off the snake because you cannot have that.
So apparently,
there's too much money involved.
They found that it was during spring training that they began the investigation. They found that he was not betting on games or manipulating any games he was involved in. So allegedly, he did not compromise or manipulate any games, but he was betting on baseball.
See, no, you gotta go. You're out.
Tim, what's the NBA?
Tim Donaghy.
Yes. He wasn't actually always officiating the games. He was given an inside scoop on some of the other games that he had heard. And then what makes me nervous about this Pat situation that reminds me of Tim is there was a whole little community of NBA officials that were sharing information and then passing it off to
Scott Foster got called 44 times one day.
That's where I feel like this investigation, while they're still obviously working through it, conspiracy.
All right, there's our rant on Major League umpires, but very, very shady. I don't
not good. It's
don't like it one bit. So
bring on the robo umps.
It's very bad, very bad. But you know what's not bad for you? That's our friends over at TrueMark Financial. It's the opposite of bad. TrueMark Financial is great. They're a local company based right here in our backyards. I passed 2 of their locations on my ride in today. They're based right in Fort Washington. That means they hire people from the area. They care more about the area, and they invest in the Delaware Valley. There's over 24 area branches and locations, and TrueMark Financial is great because when you join a credit union like TrueMark, you become a part owner, which means profits are going to come back to you instead of going out to faceless shareholders across the country. Better rates, lower fees, and a better return on savings, and flexible options with all the same digital tools and tech to make your life easier that you're used to. And becoming a member has so many benefits over being a customer at a bank. It's a total no-brainer. So head over to TrueMark.com/PHLY to learn more or to find a branch near you. That's TrueMark.com/PHLY. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Yeah, and let's talk about what else is good for you, and that's good for your gut, good for your digestive health. That is our friends over at Olipop. Now, Olipop is the place that you can get the world's first functional soda and make sure that you're getting plant-based fiber, prebiotics, and other botanical ingredients to support your digestive health. It is really important that you're taking care of yourself. While we're out here talking and watching baseball and summer and everything else, heat waves, you want to also make sure you're taking care of your health and your body. And with Olipop, as a new kind of soda, they've got 2 to 5 grams of sugar per can, 9 grams of fiber per can, and they also want to make sure to tackle the issue of fiber because 95% of Americans allegedly are not getting the amount of fiber that they need. 2 out of 3 are dealing with digestive health issues, myself included. And with Olipop, it changes all of that. I can say firsthand, as I've started drinking Olipop more and more, I feel different. I didn't even realize the difference of how much better I could feel to take care of my digestive health. And you want to make sure you're taking care of yours. And with Olipop, they have tons of delicious flavors to choose from, which is what also makes it great because you don't have to drink something with a bad aftertaste or that tastes like medicine in order to get healthy results. They've got the classic root beer, the strawberry vanilla. They've got grape, Dr. Goodwin, cream, tropical punch, lots of delicious flavors for you that you can drink. And with Olipop today, if you use the code PHLY20, you'll get 20% off your next Olipop order. That discount does only apply to one-time orders, not to any subscriptions. But again, Olipop, which is sold online on Amazon, on drinkolipop.com, is also sold in 30,000 retailers nationwide. I have seen so much Olipop lately. It's bursting off the shelves. They're in Wawa, Target, Sprouts, GoPuff, Wegmans. I passed a big truck that was delivering Olipops, and it was so great to see. I was like, hey, friend, as they were delivering cases of Olipop to a local market in Philly. I've seen them in airports and different markets around the country. And you can find them easily. And again, use that code PHLY20, get 20% off, drink some refreshing Olipop, and feel good, especially as we're out here lounging on the beach, laying by the pool, yelling at the umpires. Whatever we're doing, you want to feel good while you do it with Olipop.
Jason Coletti in the chat says, robo-umps can't bet on games. That's a very good point. Quick Phillies announcement, and then we're going to talk about the All-Star stuff here. Friday night's broadcast is an Apple TV game that is going to have T-Mac, Kruk, and Taryn Hatcher on the call, along with Ryan Spilborghs for the Friday night game against the Diamondbacks. They will also provide full coverage of the Cole Hamels retirement ceremony, which is very cool there.
Yay.
Unless you're not an Apple TV subscriber, then it's a pain in the ass. I fully expect a call from my father-in-law asking me why the hell they're doing this and does he have Apple TV? So I will be fielding that call Friday morning. I already had Apple TV, so it's never impacted my life in that way. I do get why people hate all these different services, but selfishly, the Apple TV broadcast, I think, is top-notch. Like, their cameras they use are gorgeous. I love the in-game analytics that they do. I just think it's a really pretty broadcast. So just a little note there, and they'll have full coverage of the Hamels retirement, which will be cool.
That's going to be really exciting, and it'll be, again, great for baseball. It'll be fun to watch, and they do a really good job, as you mentioned, the production value of the Apple TV broadcast. It's not easy to get to them, but when you watch them, it's easy to watch because they are very nice. I know we didn't have this in our show sheet, and I'm so sorry to throw this on you last minute because...
Oh, jeez, Renee. I'm trying to get to the All-Star ballot because it's going to take us a little time.
But if you guys want to take a look, I didn't even have a chance to share this with Tyler because I just stumbled onto this about the Red City Connect jersey that dropped.
I don't think it's real.
I don't know. It looks exactly
somebody
like the blue
pointed out
one.
that the armpits are still blue, like somebody dyed it themselves.
They're kind of blackish.
Yeah, like it was dyed
blue.
red.
I don't know. If you guys take a look, apparently there was a Red City Connect jersey that was found.
I don't know.
It was sold on Facebook Marketplace.
Shady.
I like Facebook Marketplace. I bought things from there.
Yeah,
and
we've done.
It's great for thrifting, you know.
Yeah.
And so apparently there was a Red City Connect jersey, which has people wondering if they were supposed to be red instead of blue, and where this is coming from. It does have all the Nike.
The whole theme is
It's got the Nike tags and everything.
Yeah, I don't buy it.
I don't know. Take a look at it when you get a chance.
The whole theme was the Philadelphia flag, where it's blue and yellow. So I don't buy it.
I'm all about the conspiracies.
One thing I did want to mention before we do the All-Star stuff, Buster Olney yesterday did a little bit of a sit down. He was on Baseball Isn't Boring. I'm unfamiliar with what that podcast is. But Buster Olney joined from the seats at Fenway to talk about it. Buster Olney had something very interesting to say. He said there's no chance. We think this Phillies bullpen is great, and they are. He said there's no chance Dave Dombrowski doesn't add another primo reliever. He mentioned the big name at this deadline, Mason Miller.
Woo-wee.
Buster's very tied in. He's been pretty good with his Philly stuff ever since the Dombrowski regime has taken over. That was very interesting to hear the name Mason Miller come out of his mouth. So just throwing that out there that he did mention it.
The first thought that came to my mind, Jamie, Primo Hoagies.
Well, I could go for one of those.
As soon as I read Primo in there, I got lost in the word Primo.
Yeah,
but
the
Mason
quote
Miller.
Was, the Phillies, Dave Dombrowski, there's no chance he doesn't add a primo reliever. I would go with the Bada Bing or the Turkey Schwartzy. You can't go wrong.
That's what I stopped. He's going for the Primo.
Mason Miller, right? Somebody like that to give one more arm for that bullpen, because the team has a regret coming off of last year's NLCS.
Ooh, Mason Miller does have 12 saves on the season so far, tied for 13th with a 2.27 ERA, 56 Ks, a .85 whip. I like him.
Throws at 123 miles an hour.
He's a 25-year-old, 6'5", got some height to him, got some size. He's 6'5", 200 pounds. He's a righty. Bring him on. Mason Miller and Luis Robert. Let's do it.
He's going to cost you a lot because every playoff team is going to want a piece of this kid. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't hate it at all. I'd probably slightly prefer an outfield upgrade than another bullpen arm.
And I don't know if we could do both.
But if you do both, you do the Sunny D. Why not both, me? I'm all in. All right, let's get to the All-Star stuff. The numbers came out yesterday. Tyler's going to share the image with you of the All-Star voting. And basically the takeaway from this is that Phillies fans are absolute psychopaths in the best possible way. Because Johan Rojas, he just got DFA'd yesterday. Or not DFA'd, sent down because he has options remaining to Lehigh Valley. He's now a AAA player. He's 7th in NL All-Star voting for outfielders. So basically, you look at this list, Bryce Harper has the most votes. He is going to, this is weird, be a Philly in the All-Star game for the first time yet.
I know. When they said it yesterday, I was like, wait, what? It was one of those,
because
one of those
COVID
things that you don't realize.
He got hurt from, was that Blake? Who hit him? Blake Snell? Who broke his hand in San Diego? Was that Snell? It was his friend.
I think it was Snell.
I feel like it was Snell.
Yeah, I think it was Snell.
Yeah.
Snell broke his hand. He did make the All-Star game that year, but wasn't able to play in it. So Bryce Harper is blowing away the competition at first base. He has like almost 400,000 more votes than Freddie Freeman. JT Real Muto is second, and I think deservedly behind William Contreras, who's been disgusting this year. Your other starters, Alec Boehm, leading third base by a large margin, almost 1 million more votes than Manny Machado in second place. So Alec Boehm and Bryce Harper are going to be your starting corner infielders in the All-Star game for the NL, which is very cool. Trey Turner is second behind Mookie Betts. For shortstop, well behind Mookie Betts, but Mookie Betts is now out. Did we get a timeline on Mookie Betts? 6 to 8 weeks, right?
They said 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, so he'll probably miss it. So there's a good chance Trey Turner. There's a good chance that Alec Boehm, Trey Turner, and Bryce Harper are starting infielders for the NL, which is pretty bonkers. And, JT's probably going to be second, so he'll be on the bench. So your infield will be well represented.
I'm very excited about this so far. I just want to clarify my frustration is not towards the Phillies. It's towards the fact that my already sucking fantasy team just lost one of our best players.
Nobody cares.
Wow, Jamie.
I just feel like
hurt.
I feel like you need the reminder that
nobody dealing with injuries.
Nobody cares about your fantasy team. This is just an important reminder.
Man,
nobody cares about anybody's fantasy teams.
As soon as his hand got. I care. I'm tired of losing. But all right, let's go back to the exciting things.
Brandon Marsh, Nick Castellanos are 5th and 6th in NL All-Star outfielder votes. So, it is a popularity contest, kind of, in a way. Shohei Ohtani is right behind Bryce Harper. A lot of times they get it right. A lot of times it's a popularity contest. So we decided today we're going to cast our official show All-Star ballot here on the PHLY Phillies podcast. Tyler is going to pull it up on the screen. The three of us will come to a consensus as long as my old man eyes can see, which I cannot. I'll just do it myself on the computer so I can see. I can see stuff. I see faces. Let me pull it up so I can go along with it here. MLB All-Star voting.
Oh.
Renee, do you want to quarterback this? If you can make out all the names and faces on the screen there.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. Okay, so we've got starting. We want to do. Wait, I don't even know how do we want to do this.
Starts at first base.
Do we? Okay, so
Bryce Harper. I think we all agree there.
Yeah, I
right?
don't even.
He's having a better year than Freddie Freeman. He's having a better year than Matt Olson. I think we cast there for Bryce.
How much? So before you go ultimatum Bryce Harper, and I think I probably vote Bryce Harper as well.
Who are you voting?
Yeah, what?
Freeman has just 3 less RBIs. He has a 20 higher point average, and his OPS is better than Harper. So I don't think it's. I also believe you vote Bryce Harper in this regard, but I don't think it's as set in stone as just it's Bryce Harper, move on.
Well, the easy way to help solidify voting for Bryce is he's a Philly.
Yeah, we're voting for Bryce Harper.
Okay.
Screw Freddie Freeman.
This is easy.
He can be a backup.
It has to be. Honestly, I would vote a Philly for every position, which is partly why there are so many Phillies in there. No, wait, I wasn't done yet.
I'm voting Contreras over Realmuto.
I would vote every Philly for a position unless there's someone clearly better than them in that position. So in this situation, if it's Bryce or Freddie, I'm going Bryce.
All right, first base is done. Oh, we got to do the
Still
AL.
Got to vote for the AL too.
What about?
I think you've got 3 guys you can choose from.
This is tough.
Who are
Carlos
your 3?
Santana?
So I think that the 2 that are in first and second are. So
Naylor?
Guerrero's got the most votes, and that's probably due in part because A, he's a popular name, and B, Toronto shows out to vote at the All-Star ballot. But to me, I would vote Ryan Mountcastle in this regard. I know the OPS is not substantially higher than Vlad's, but he's got 11 home runs this year. The other guy I was considering, I know the average is low, but he has the highest OPS of the 3 that I was considering is Josh Naylor.
He's having a great year.
17 home runs, 50 RBIs.
Yeah.
I know the average is a little bit low. But those are the 3 to me I think that you would consider.
All right, screw Vlad. I'm in for either of Mountcastle or Naylor.
I like Naylor, actually.
All right, let's give Naylor some love. The Guardians are having a great year.
Yeah.
All right, throw him in. All right, second base. I'll kind of just be a coward here and go Luis Arraez. The guy just bats over 320 every single year. Pretty great. Ketel Marte, I love.
Ketel Marte is my vote.
Yeah, okay. I'm in.
14 home runs, almost 40 RBI, 850 OPS.
All right, I'm in.
And the average is at 280. It's strong enough.
Ketel gets our vote. What about you, Vinay?
You guys are
sign
fast.
off on that?
Oh my gosh. What about like Nolan Gorman?
His 205 average, I'm out.
No, I like Ketel Marte. That's fine.
All right,
in the AL,
the leading vote getter is Jose Altuve
I don't think
because
this one's
he's
close.
a name. In second is a guy maybe a little more deserving in Marcus
I like Marcus Semien. I like Marcus Semien.
So hold on real quick. They both have 11 home runs. Jose Altuve's got 40 higher points batting average, and his OPS is better.
Yeah, but Semien has like 12 more RBIs.
Yeah.
Which isn't
Jose Altuve's been the best second baseman in baseball this year.
Yeah, I'm good with I don't really have a preference.
If you guys want to vote, listen, it's your poll. I mean,
it's our show vote.
I personally don't think this is a particular conversation. I think Jose Altuve gets the vote.
Tyler, you're tough to vote with, man.
Because I'm voting for the best players.
No, I mean, but you could argue Marcus Semien with his.
I'm fine with Altuve. I really don't give a shit between the two of them. Like if you said, hey, you're managing the AL and you can have Altuve or Semien, I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Vaughn Grisham looking good there, 148 and a 367 OPS. That's a good vote.
Brandon Drury's hitting 168.
Yeah, man.
Wow. Zach Geloff's hitting 189.
Jeez.
Man, second base stinks around here.
There's some. Brandon Lau is he Lau or low?
He is.
Nathaniel is.
See, we're doing this again.
Nathaniel is
I
Lau.
think he's
right?
low. No,
he's low.
He's Lau. Brandon Lau.
He's Lau.
He's low. Yeah.
Nathaniel is low. Yeah.
No, wait, because there's a Josh too. 2 of them are. We've done this already.
AC Phila is
We're
saying
not
we're doing
this
this
again.
wrong. It's not about who deserves it, since the fan vote breaks that anyways.
Jorge Polanco's batting 195. Man, this is bad. All right, Jose Altuve's me and Tyler vote. Do you care to fight that one, Renee?
No, I don't care.
All right, moving on to third base. The leading vote getter for the NL is Alec Bohm.
Done.
In second place is Manny Machado. I think
this is a tough one.
Bohm is
not
deserving. Yeah.
Yeah, he really is deserving.
Yeah, there's no argument
He's actually
here.
leading the league in RBIs and in number stats.
848 OPS. He's been great.
Yeah, there's no
average.
argument for me. I think it's Alec Bohm.
And I don't think there's going to be much argument for third base in the AL either. Jose Ramirez is spectacular. His month of May, he just was sending skyrockets.
This is a really good positional group this year. I mean, you think about Rafi Devers is having a nice year. I know Isaac Paredes isn't driving in as many runs as the rest of these guys, but he's been solid. Like you said, Jose Ramirez was on an absolute tear early in the year. This is a really good group.
It is, but my vote's Jose.
And then I think Jordan Westberg gets consideration
Yeah, he's
too.
the second place vote getter right now, actually, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, but you tell me 18 home runs, 62 RBI, and over 850 OPS. I'm in agreement. So I'm going Jose Ramirez.
Jose Ramirez gets the AL third base vote. Shortstop. I mean, it's a shame Trey Turner got hurt. He is second in the vote getting right now, behind Mookie Betts. who is also hurt and is likely going to miss the game.
Which really sucks because he's the easy answer.
He is the easy answer.
He is the easy answer, but with him being hurt and out 6 to 8 weeks, and with Trey coming back from injury, my sleeper would be Elly De La Cruz.
Francisco Lindor's numbers are pretty good this year. O'Neal Cruz is okay, but I think Trey Turner, honestly, is probably the second most deserving guy.
I just think he's missed too much time.
He missed so much. I mean, I
know, but he was hitting 340 when he left.
Vote for him.
His OPS is 850.
Yeah, I mean, he just has played so much less. So he's got, 2 home runs, 9 RBIs. As you mentioned, that 345 average is great.
Adames has been solid.
I'll be quite honest with you. I know he's not going to play between now and then, but I think you could comfortably vote Mookie Betts and just say it was deserving, and someone else is taking this spot.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's the thing. Mookie Betts.
But then you might as well give it to Trey because he was deserving too. By the time you get to the All-Star game.
But Mookie Betts has played more games than Trey Turner has.
Yeah, but by the time you get to the All-Star game, it's going to balance out.
Is it going to balance out to a tune of 8 home runs and...
Well, not
because he's not going to hit home, right? You know what I mean?
The amount of games played.
The OPS is high. I get what you're saying.
My vote's Trey. If Mookie's not going to play in the game, then I would go Trey.
He definitely by that point.
A couple of guys that have been good too that have fly on, like you said, Francisco Lindor had a really, really bad start to the year. Yeah. So the fact that he's up to 240, has 12 home runs, he's been much better as of late. Ezekiel Tovar's been really good too for the Rockies. I mean, he's not going to get any love because the Rockies suck.
Yeah.
But he's been pretty good too.
Yeah. Shortstop's got some good names here.
Elly De La Cruz is going to probably steal 80 bags this year.
Yeah.
My vote is Trey. Mookie's deserving, but if it's a guy that's actually going to play, I'm voting Trey.
Well, again, Trey was on pace to have all-star numbers.
And his second vote getter.
Yeah.
I think the AL's easy. Bobby Witt Jr. has been spectacular.
This
might be the hardest pick of them all.
But I think Gunnar Henderson.
I think it's got to be. Yeah, it's got to be Gunnar in my opinion. 22 home runs, 49 RBIs, a 274 average,
a 958 OPS.
Yeah, he's been insane.
Witt's at 928 as well. And listen, I lean Witt because I just enjoy watching him play. He's 50 points higher in average than Henderson. More RBIs than Gunnar as well.
11 less home runs.
So what balances out for you? This is the toughest.
He got the RBIs.
This is by far the toughest one, I think, for me.
That's because you love Bobby Witt Jr. and Bo Bichette.
Yeah, but Bo Bichette's not a...
You love their game.
Bo Bichette's not an all-star this year. He's been pretty bad.
I mean, in general, this is your grouping.
I would vote Gunnar.
I'm going Gunnar.
All right. Well, I mean,
Bobby Witt gets second.
I'm outvoted, so Henderson it is. We still need a shortstop for the National League. We haven't come to a consensus.
Said Trey.
Me and Renee said Trey.
All right.
You're out. Mookie deserved it for the purposes.
He did deserve it. If he was still healthy, different conversation.
All right, this is easy. Not. Catcher in the NL, I'm going William Contreras.
Yeah, I don't think it's close.
I don't think it's even close. JT's going to be second. In the AL, the leading vote getter is Adley Rutschman.
I'm going
He's
Adley.
Pretty spectacular. Salvador Perez is currently second. I would also go Adley.
Yeah, Adley and Gunnar are the two of the big names behind the Orioles' success in general. They're deserving of absolutely getting the vote.
Yeah, Rutschman makes sense here.
I think so catcher was fairly easy.
Near 280 average, 15 home runs. He's been solid.
The NL outfield stinks.
Yeah.
Castellanos is your 6th leading vote getter. Teoscar Hernandez has actually been on a tear. I think he's deserving this year. Brandon Marsh is 5th. Your leading vote getter is Jurickson Profar.
I think,
who's
absolutely should be an all-star
who's in
this
town
year.
currently. I think we vote him. He's a no-brainer.
Yeah, he's been playing definitely the best. His 909 OPS.
I would vote. I think him and
average.
Teoscar are layups, personally. Teoscar's OPS is 826, 17 home runs.
Is there any merit to voting to 2 outfielders on the same team? Because you have there might be conversation to consider Fernando Tatis as an all-star too.
I would vote him.
Yeah.
And then the other guy, by the way, I think again it plays on a less than stellar team, and he's not a name yet. Elliot Ramos has been awesome this year. He's at almost 330 average. A near
981 OPS.
Yeah, so I mean, granted, the sample size is a little bit lower for him than it is for others. He's been awesome this year.
Yeah, I would probably go Tatis slightly over him, but you make a good point.
Are you?
Are we agreement?
Hernandez?
Teoscar and Profar are locks.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then the third one we're just debating.
Yeah, I mean, you look
good
at this
either way, but I would probably lean Tatis just for the sex appeal of the All-Star game, which isn't fair, but I feel like he puts on a show.
You can see why Nick is 6 in voting because this is quite
it's not good. I'll let you and Tyler debate that third vote. Who you want?
I'm fine with Fernando.
All right, Fernando
Let's do it. An 806 OPS, 273 average, solid.
I think you can cruise through this because 2 of the 3 are on the same team.
Juan Soto and Aaron Judge are very
definitive locks.
Are you guys sure you want to vote for them?
Definitive locks.
And Stephen Kwan has been.
Stephen Kwan's been awesome.
Awesome. His OPS is 1.001. It doesn't have a lot of. He's hitting 398.
Yeah, he's been sensational. And
wow, Juan's is a 1.025 OPS. Holy crap!
Comes back from injury and just continues to hit.
Are those our 3?
I think it is.
Okay.
I mean, you have a
Santander's
1. You have a 1
OPS.
Baltimore. Like, yeah.
Yep. I think that'll do it. Stephen Kwan, Aaron Judge.
That's
Juan
crazy
Soto.
because Juan and Aaron Judge have a combined 119 RBIs, if I'm doing the math correctly in my head quickly. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
All right.
Insane.
As good as Schwarber has been.
If only we had June Schwarber all season.
I know.
He'd be
Shohei
the DH
Ohtani
lock.
and Marcell Ozuna have been absolutely insane at the DL position.
Yeah. Ozuna also with a 1.003 OPS.
Ozuna's numbers are better than baseball Jesus's.
I know.
Listen, Ohtani's going to get the nod. Which is why I don't understand why my team is losing in because
but Ozuna's insane.
He's universally beloved, and B, Ozuna's a scumbag. But
all valid points.
But I think that numerically speaking, Ozuna's actually been
statistically he's having
better.
a hell of a season right now.
Yeah.
But I would go Shohei just because I
voted Shohei.
Yeah.
Because Marcell Ozuna
Do we get
is
bonus
a scumbag.
Points for our fantasy team?
No.
No, not at all. But you do lose points for being a scumbag. So sorry, Marcel, you're out.
That's
AL,
team's losing.
DH.
Jordan Alvarez.
Jordan Alvarez.
Actually, the OPS is lower than I thought.
He is the leading vote getter for the AL DH.
And Giancarlo Stanton's number 2 with a 777 OPS. 238 average.
Yeah,
I think it's Jordan.
It's Jordan.
Yeah.
All right, so there is our ballot.
That was tough.
Yeah, I
actually made some votes myself.
I voted as I went along so I could see it. So I didn't old man out on the screen there. So it looks like I think I have what we all voted. Bryce Harper at first base, Ketel Marte at second base. Third base, we have Alec Boehm. Shortstop, because Mookie Betts is going to be hurt and likely missing the game, we gave our man Trey a little bump there. The outfield for the NL, we have Teoscar Hernandez, Jurickson Profar, and Fernando Tatis Jr. Catcher, we have William Contreras. JT will be backing him up. And then the DH, we have Shohei Ohtani. In the AL, Vlad Guerrero, Jose Altuve, Jose Ramirez, Gunnar Henderson, Aaron Judge, Stephen Kwan, Juan Soto, Adley Rutschman, and Jordan Alvarez. There you have it. I think those are pretty good teams. I think sex appeal goes in the AL's favor. That's just like a sexier lineup.
Yeah, I mean, you have
like Jurickson Profar isn't a household name to a lot of people
that's
yet.
the thing. You have Aaron,
Alec Boehm might not be,
but then Gunnar and Adley are like those up and coming household names. And then on the other side for the NL, Bryce is the household name. Shohei's obviously
sure.
But other than that,
I think the AL's a little better.
Yeah.
I do still love the MLB All-Star Game. It takes me back to my childhood all the time. That was a fun little exercise. Did just want to mention this on the way out as we send Renee off to a little vacation. Renee, what's the mailing address of where you're staying? We need zip code.
I'll be at 1234. Don't find me.
Sesame Street Way. Yeah. This past weekend in Major League Baseball.
Do not disturb way.
Thanks to Phillies fans contributing to this in a major way with 3 sellouts down in Baltimore. It was the most popular weekend of Major League Baseball since 2008. MLB's 45 games drew 1.68 million fans for an average of 37,500 a game. Best attended since a weekend in August for both total and average attendance. And yesterday marked the highest Sunday total. I'm reading this on yesterday's tweet. 612,066 fans since 2008 as well in September. Saturday marked the highest pre-July Saturday since 2008 and the best Saturday average overall since 2013. So baseball is booming. Business is good. The Phillies are good. Renee, enjoy your vacation. We will miss you here on the PHLY Phillies podcast. Tyler and I got you the rest of the week. John Foley's going to be joining us some. But tomorrow we're doing a post-game show after the Padres day game. So we should be on probably in that 3:45, 3:30 neighborhood. Thursday, we'll be back at 11 a.m. with our man Jimmy Stakes, Jim Salisbury joining us. And then Friday night, we also have a post-game as well. So Tyler and I got you covered the rest of the week.
Don't
Renee
miss me too much, guys.
Enjoy your vacation.
As Flyers and 7 is mentioning, I will be in a hammock with a straw and a coconut.
Hell yeah. I love beach drinks.
Yeah.
God, they're good.
With any drink with an umbrella or in a coconut or anything like that.
Hell yeah.
It's a sign of relaxation.
Yeah.
So don't miss me too much, guys.
Have a
I will
great
miss
trip.
you.
Me and Tyler will hold down the fort in the way, in the best way, hopefully we can. So that's it for us today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let's smash that thumbs up button on your way out of here today. As always, we love and appreciate the support. Thank you for hanging out with us. You can spend your time with anyone, but you spent it with us today, and we appreciate you.
Yeah. See you guys next time.
Big hug, group hug, bear hug. Love you guys. See you tomorrow.
We all silly.